Well, welcome to the Lawson Brothers Podcast, the podcast where sibling dynamics collide. Join us as we delve into the world of brotherhood with your host, two real-life brothers who share everything from childhood memories to heated debates on pop culture, sports, and beyond.
Hey there, I'm James Lawson, the older and wiser brother.
And I'm Sam Lawson, the younger and cooler brother.
Debatable, but we'll let our listeners decide.
Fair enough.
Get ready for lively conversations, playful banter, and plenty of brotherly love. So join us every week for the Lawson Brothers Podcast, because who knows brothers better than brothers themselves?
Let the banter begin. Dude, that was sick.
What an intro. What an intro. That was the greatest podcast intro we've ever had.
No, that was
all right. So here, let's dial this back. Let's pause and reset. Here's what just happened. Sam and I were sitting in here today talking with Braden, and we're like, what are we going to talk about on this episode of the Lawson Brothers Podcast, where the only thing we know is that we don't know anything, and iron sharpens iron. And Braden says, all right, put it in Chat GPT. I need a podcast intro hosted by two brothers. Yeah. And what we just read was generated by OpenAI ChatGPT.
That was the first read through.
That was
right there in the
that was live in the moment. That was an OpenAI generated podcast intro.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Do you know what we did? Do you know what that's called? Do you know what we just did is called?
No, tell me.
A cold read.
Okay.
A cold read. It's part of what actors would do when they first get like a script or something. They would like sit around a table. You remember the New Heights podcast when they're talking about Saturday Night Live and his experience?
Yeah.
They sit around the table and they read through the full script.
Yeah,
they do
that was it.
Except for kind of what we
fascinating. All right, so we're gonna read another podcast intro. This is I typed in a Christian podcast intro.
Okay.
All right, here we're gonna try it again.
Wait, are we doing it in the same voice or should we change
I mean, this is we're gonna read it like we would read it if this was our podcast.
Sure. Okay.
And so this Chat GPT is even giving us like music cues. You see that, like soft, calming music plays. Here's the narrator. Welcome to Faithful Journeys, the podcast where we explore the deep and diverse world of Christianity. Join us as we embark on a spiritual journey exploring the joys, challenges, and mysteries of faith. Hello, I'm James, a devoted Christian and your co-host on this journey. I would never say that.
And I'm Sam Lawson, another fellow traveler in pursuit of a closer relationship with God.
Together, we're going to dive into the timeless truth of the Bible, unpack its teachings, and discussing how it impacts our daily lives.
We'll explore a wide range of topics, from biblical insights and spiritual practices to personal testimonies and reflections on living out our faith in today's world.
We'll also invite inspiring guests, from pastors and theologians to fellow believers, who will share their stories and insights and encourage us in our walk of faith.
We're not just here to preach, we're here to learn, to grow, and to navigate the complexities of faith with honesty and authenticity.
So whether you're a lifelong Christian, a seeker on a spiritual quest, or simply curious about matters of faith, join us on Faithful Journeys as we embark on a meaningful exploration of Christianity.
Yeah, get ready for thought-provoking discussions, heartfelt conversations, and a deeper understanding of God's grace and love. So, grab your Bible, open your heart, and let's embark on this faith-filled adventure together. Sound good?
Dude, wow.
It's almost like if we planned something and wrote something. Dude, that just felt so good, reading that.
See, I'm like,
I was like,
all right, I'm reading that, and I'm like, all right, the difference.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know, but like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I'm fascinated by it. I've never actually messed with this Chat GPT OpenAI deal before. That's fascinating.
There's a lot here, honestly, if you want to unpack it. Go back to look at what you type in.
Christian podcast intro.
Look at how the Christians portray
themselves. I know. That's like the language. Like, how often do you hear like faith described as a spiritual journey, or somebody saying something about unpacking the teaching of the Bible? The reflection, like living out our faith in today's world. We're not here to preach.
Like the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Are so clearly communicated through these two personas.
That's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
I don't
like that.
I know. I'm with you. I saw something the other day. This was really interesting. This was so Snapchat has integrated an AI feature in their app, which is I'm not the biggest Snapchat fan. I think of all the social media platforms, Snapchat's a little sketchy. There's an app that I've recommended to parents in the past, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called like Bluebird or something like that. But it basically helps monitor your kids' social media, like Instagram and Facebook. Meta platforms, they contracted with this app to help moderate content on kids' phones. But anyway, long story short, Snapchat was the only major platform that wouldn't help parents moderate content for their kids. And so that to me was a red flag. But anyway, so Snapchat's integrated this, they call it Snap GPT, I think, into the platform, which is interesting. So now there's this AI component to Snapchat that, and what's happening, or My AI, that's what it's called, My AI.
My AI.
Yeah, on Snapchat. But anyway,
what does it do though? Like, how does it function?
It does what this does. Like like Snapchat build it as like a place to have conversations or a person to talk to. Like it's very. So
you can interact with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually Snapchat the AI. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's just like this. It's like a chat. It's like a chat bot. You just talk to a Snapchat bot. But anyway, like I saw somebody had like asked the Snapchat AI to like explain the gospel, and it gave like this gospel presentation.
Was it good?
Yeah. I mean, it was like right in line. Like if somebody sat down with me and said, "Hey, explain the gospel." I mean, it was like, life, death, burial, resurrection of Jesus, blood shed for the forgiveness of sins, resurrection, to overcome. And then the person like put in like, how do I, give my life to Jesus? And it was like, admit you're a sinner, confess Jesus is Lord, believe in your heart God raised him from the dead. I mean, it was like, it was fascinating. I don't know, man. So like,
how do I do a new one?
Scroll down to the send a message.
Send a message. Okay. And I just tell them to do something.
Yeah.
All right. So last week we talked about like tolerance. I'm going to do something.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, but yeah, go ahead.
Give me a podcast intro for a podcast for a podcast hosted by two brothers who are Christians, and make the podcast be about tolerance.
It's going to like melt. See what happens.
Do I just click enter?
Yeah.
And scroll it down?
Yeah, it's generating right now. I'm interested to see what they say here.
Read this one?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so this is... I'm going to try to give a recap of that podcast. Basically, we were talking about the idea of tolerance and how tolerance assumes the equality of ideas. And that basically, the problem with tolerance is that all ideas are not equal, that all ideas don't lead to human flourishing in the same way. If your base idea is that all humans are created in the image of God, then that's going to impact how you treat all humans. If your base idea is that there are some groups of humans that are better than other groups of humans, that's going to impact how you treat other humans. And one idea leads to human flourishing, one idea leads to division and separation and, the ostracization of a group of people. So all ideas are not equal, That was basically the point of that podcast. You can go back and listen to it later. So your prompt was, give me a podcast intro for a podcast hosted by two brothers who are Christians, and make the podcast be about tolerance.
Right.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Faithful Unity, a podcast hosted by two brothers who share a common bond in their Christian faith. Join us as we embark on a journey to promote tolerance and understanding in a divided world.
Interesting. Hey there, I'm Sam Lawson. I'm a firm believer in the power of love and acceptance.
And I'm James Lawson, and I'm equally committed to spreading the message of inclusivity and compassion.
Together, we'll tackle the tough questions and hot topics that often arise in discussions about faith and tolerance.
We'll share our personal experiences, stories of grace, and lessons learned on our own faith journeys.
We'll also explore the challenges of navigating differences in belief, culture, and lifestyle with an emphasis on promoting understanding and mutual respect.
Our goal is to create a safe space where diverse perspectives can be heard, honored, and celebrated.
Join us on Faithful Unity as we strive to bridge divides, build connections, and inspire positive change in our world.
Get ready for engaging conversations, thought-provoking insights, and practical tips on how to cultivate tolerance in your own life and relationships.
So whether you're a Christian seeking to promote tolerance in your faith community or someone from any background who values inclusivity, you're invited to join us on this journey of faith and unity.
We're so glad to have you with us. Let's spread the message of love and tolerance together.
That's kind of what I thought it would be.
That's interesting. So, I think what's fascinating about this is that this is not a non-biased perspective.
Totally.
Like, all right, so the brotherly banter, that was funny. That was interesting to me. How that captured the dynamic between two brothers just about brotherhood. And then you throw in the Christian podcast intro theme. It was like you got a lot of like Christian cliches, about unpacking scripture and making living faith and, living out our faith in today's world, right. Walk of faith. There's very much like insider language that if you didn't go to church, like there's a lot of that you wouldn't understand, or that would just be like really weird to you, yeah. And then this last one, there's a clear ideological perspective that, hey, tolerance and inclusivity and all like that is the goal, that's what we should be, because you just said made the podcast be about tolerance. You didn't say we want to promote tolerance, we want to push people towards tolerance, and so ChatGPT on its own has given us an ideological framework from which to engage, which is fascinating.
We've got to also know too that both of us might be inclined to find things that do lean that way as well as we're reading it.
If by that you mean I don't trust GPT as far as I can throw it, that's a fact. I ain't listening to the internet. No. I don't trust this thing. This is fascinating though. Like,
it's really weird.
It is weird. Dude, I read a book.
What book did you read?
This was a long time ago. I read a book by a guy named Jaron Lanier. Jaron Lanier. And it was called 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media Accounts Immediately. And Lanier, he's one of the guys that actually helped found and start Google. And he said that one of the greatest mistakes they made when they started the open source internet was that they made it free. He said because then what happened was there had to be a revenue source somewhere. So the revenue essentially comes from advertisers. Okay, that's where the internet makes their money through advertisements. Well, the product then becomes the consumers of the ad. Right?
Oh yeah.
So when you use the internet, what his point was, when you use the internet or you use social media or you use something that is free to you, somebody's paying something. So there's money changing hands somewhere.
Yeah.
And so if it's free to you, you're not the one who's getting the benefit of the financial resource. You're not the one who's making the payment.
Right.
That makes you the product.
You're the product.
And so his point was that when you come to the internet, there's an agenda that's being pushed towards you by advertisers who are paying money to the host of the internet, to the open source internet,
totally,
to run their advertisements. And so his point was hey, you're being influenced and you don't even know it.
Right.
ChatGPT, I made this account 5 minutes before we started this podcast. I didn't pay a dime for it.
Right.
Which means somebody's paying for it somewhere.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's not me.
Right.
You know, and I just think, man, I just think that's worth considering. Like, hey, there's a framework, there's an idea, there's a perspective here. I don't know. Be careful.
It's interesting.
It's fascinating.
It is, man. It is. Yeah. What do you? What's your perspective on like news sources?
I read like widely from a lot of different news sources.
Okay.
I actually use Twitter for a lot of my news. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say that now or not. That's because Elon Musk keeps trying to get canceled. Elon Musk bought Twitter a little while back. And there's been some interesting stuff that he's kind of uncovered as he's dug into the algorithms and voices that Twitter was silencing during the last election cycle and the way they were filtering out information and news. It's fascinating. If you thought we're being manipulated, we are. And so anyway, I use Twitter. I'll follow like a lot of different accounts, in terms of like, and I'll look at I'll look at Fox News, I'll look at CNN, I'll look at MSNBC. I actually get an email a couple of times a week from a company called The Pour Over, which I one, I like because I like coffee. Two, I like The Pour Over because it's, unbiased news with a Christian perspective. So what they do is they'll take a headline, and then tell you, hey, here are the facts, and then they'll throw a scripture verse at the end of that, and say, hey, this is kind of a biblical lens through which to see this current event. So. For example, President Biden announced either last night or this morning that he is definitely going to run for re-election in 2024. Yeah. So they might send that out in the pour over. President Biden announces, it's not saying it's good or bad, but here's what happened. President Biden announced his run for re-election in 2024. And then the verse that they put with it might be like, hey, while Christians are called to engage in politics, our ultimate hope rests in the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, who's over every nation and tribe and tongue on the planet, and here's the scripture verse to affirm that, every government that's in place, it's whatever the verse is in Romans that talks about how every government in place ultimately finds its authority in God, and God's over it all. So, and it's just, to me, a great way to kind of intake news where so much of the news is negative. Where do you get your news?
Do what?
Where do you get your news?
I've started recently. This is kind of a fun source, I guess, but it's called The Daily on Spotify. It's like a podcast.
Oh, okay. I used to listen to that sometimes too in the mornings.
It's called The Daily. Let me look. Pulling it up right now. Let's see. It's kind of rant. Yeah, it's called The Daily. I think it comes from.
It's the New York Times.
Yeah, the New York Times.
They send an email too. I get that email daily too.
Every episode's like between 20 and 30 minutes, so it's pretty fun.
Okay.
To listen to, but the topics change every day.
Yeah.
And like the other day, they had like a really interesting one, like why low-ranking soldiers have access to top secret documents, and kind of just opened. That was fun.
Hey,
I'm not going to open that, but that's a really interesting perspective.
For somebody who doesn't listen to a lot of news, you just went real deep right there.
I should not say that I don't listen to news and don't pay attention to news. I should say that I'm selective and I try to pick and choose different places to pull from.
I have an idea.
But
all right, I'm going to ask Chat GPT where we should get our news.
Oh, sure, do it.
All right, so I just put in the prompt, where should I get my news from? Oh, this is interesting. All right, Chat GPT. As an AI language model, I do not have the ability to endorse specific sources for news. The choice of where to get your news from is a personal decision and depends on various factors, including your interest, location, and perspectives. Here are some general tips to consider when seeking reliable news sources. Use multiple sources, check for credibility, verify information, consider diversity of perspectives, avoid sources with extreme bias, use official sources for critical information. And then ultimately, it's important to approach news consumption critically and exercise discernment in evaluating the reliability and credibility of news sources. It's also valuable to diversify your news sources to obtain a well-rounded and balanced perspective on current events.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ChatGPT.
I like that.
All right.
I like that. This morning, I really like Sports Center, dude, to be honest with you.
I know, right? I like Get Up.
Get Up, yeah.
Yeah.
Get Up's cool.
Oh,
like
Greenie.
First Take.
You like First Take?
I remember Around the Horn.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still on?
I think it's an afternoon thing, isn't it?
Okay.
All right. I'm asking ChatGPT about President Biden now. Doesn't have personal opinions or thoughts. Neutral and unbiased.
Dude, last week at Coastal Coffee, do you know who made an appearance at Coastal Coffee?
Tell me.
Governor DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis?
From Florida.
From the free state of Florida, as they call it. I think you sent me a picture.
Okay. Yeah, I showed up to work and, straight up just looked kind of like a bum. Like, showed up wearing my sports shorts and T-shirts, like probably like 70% clean. I think it was clean.
Yeah.
It looked clean and smelled clean, so I put it on and went to work.
Wait. You're not sure if your clothes were clean that you were wearing? Come on, bro. That's gross, dude. Keep going.
No, got there and they're like, somebody's coming today. I'm like, who?
So they said somebody? Just somebody?
No.
Okay.
It's building suspense.
Okay,
but
sorry.
No, they were like, Governor DeSantis from Florida is coming today. He's going to make a stop by Coastal Coffee. And I was just like,
did you know who he was?
I knew the name. I don't know too much about Governor DeSantis, but
did you know what state he was from?
Florida.
You knew that before they told you that? You didn't know that.
No, I didn't. I'm ignorant to a lot of information. That being one area that I'm very ignorant to.
That's fair.
Never lived in Florida, bro. I don't have to know their government.
Did you say you never been to Florida?
Never lived in it.
Oh, okay.
Never lived. I have been.
Have you been to Florida? When you been to Florida?
Well, we went to Daytona Beach.
Okay. All right. Make sure.
For a student life camp, and then I went down one time with Grandpa and Grandma for some of Grandpa's.
Oh, did you? Okay.
His, like rain visits.
Yeah.
Down there
to Gainesville.
Yeah, and that was when I went to the swamp.
Okay.
And saw like the Steve Spurrier statue and Tim Tebow.
Old Spur. There you go. Old Tebow.
Dude, the swamp is huge.
I'm sure.
Have you seen it?
I've never been.
It's
never
really
been.
Cool. It's really
so
cool.
back to Coastal.
What was I saying?
Governor DeSantis came to Coastal.
It was like nuts. I was like kind of taken aback for a minute when I first heard about it, and I was like, man, I would have totally worn something other than my sports shirt. There were several other people from Pinewood at Coastal.
Oh, really?
Coffee
Okay.
And obviously Stephen Wright was there,
Mm-hmm.
Republican chairman, and then Erica was there, and then Dave was there.
Okay. That's awesome.
Several other people. But, it was funny.
That's cool.
All of us were, and then there were like the regulars at Coastal
Sure.
who I know, and we were all kind of like, "What's happening?" And then like this lady from the Washington Post was like walks up to the counter.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I'm like, took the order for her.
Yeah.
Like never done that before. That was pretty neat. She was like wearing her press stuff and her black lanyard with a big white name tag and stuff, and that was just pretty cool. I hadn't seen that before. And then all of a sudden these nice cars start parking in front of the place, and all these dudes that are much bigger than I am get out of their cars, and they're wearing.
So he had his detail with him.
Man.
Interesting.
Oh, it was sick.
Interesting.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Going down.
That's cool.
But then for the next 45 minutes, it was like an adrenaline rush.
That's cool. I remember being when we were younger. Our Mike, our uncle, was part of the Secret Service for a little while, and I remember going. I was probably 6 or 7. It was earlier than that, maybe 5 or 6, because you weren't here yet. But I remember going to Washington D.C. when he was inducted into the Secret Service, and that was neat.
Whoa.
I don't remember a whole lot about that trip, but I just remember the cars rolling up and Secret Service pouring out. And
when's the last time you've been to D.C.?
Then when I was 5 or 6, yeah.
So you didn't come with me.
No, that was just you and Mom and Dad, wasn't it?
No, I think Emily went.
She got to go.
Yeah, Emily went. I don't think Chandler went.
I didn't get to go.
It was me, Mom.
I didn't get invited.
Dude,
I guess I was married.
Sure, you got invited.
I don't think so.
That was an incredible trip.
That was your senior year of high school?
I think so. Spring break. I loved DC.
I didn't get invited.
I was.
I'm offended.
Some DC, man. Like, I've never been in a big city like that before.
Yeah.
Like ever prior to that.
Yeah.
That big, I don't think.
Yeah.
And like the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, and then going to the different Smithsonian institutions.
I've got a picture of me and Dad in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and Dad is wearing a legitimate like fly fishing vest.
Oh, really?
Like he looks like a straight up tourist. It's like he literally is wearing a fly fisher's vest.
Hold on, just stay right here. Stay right here.
At the Lincoln Memorial.
Stay right here.
Couldn't tell you why.
I absolutely loved.
Who you calling?
I'm calling Dad. Right
you calling Dad?
Absolutely loved DC though. Maybe he'll answer. Let's see.
You think?
He should.
And now this is a new segment, ladies and gentlemen. Live phone calls on the Lawson Brothers Podcast.
4:57. Come on, Dad, answer.
It's 4:57. No wonder I'm hungry.
Hello.
Hey, Dad.
Hello, fella.
What you doing?
What's up, pal?
I'm just sitting here with your mother getting ready to eat Nick Henry's.
There you go. What's up? Hey, what's up, pal?
Can you hear James?
Hey, James.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Good.
Good.
Dad,
Get me out of this stupid car seat.
Hey, dude, you're now I gotta tell that story, man. You're live on the podcast right now.
Teaching that boy bad words.
You're live on a podcast right now.
Am I?
Yeah, like Sam's got the phone held up to the mic, and
I'm on the podcast right now.
now I've got to tell that story.
You're on the podcast. Dad, we were just talking about Washington, D.C. whenever you went with James, and James said that you were the epitome of a tourist there wearing a fish.
There's a picture of you and me in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and you're wearing basically what is the equivalent of a fly fisherman's vest. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember it exactly, but it probably, well, I don't know. There's no telling.
Dad.
When would that have been?
When Mike got inducted into the Secret Service.
Mike got inducted.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's the only time I've been in D.C.
I might have.
Hey, Dad, got a question for you.
Right?
Walk us through your packing process for a trip, because it is unlike anybody else's packing process that I've ever seen before. When you're going on a trip, what's your thought process? How do you approach it? How do you schedule out what you're going to wear? Just catch us up a little bit, because this will help us out.
Well, I usually just jot down a little list of things that I'm going to need, how many days you're going to be gone, check the temperature, where you're going to be going, and see what you're going to need to wear. Is it, do you need any, are you going to go to church? You need something a little more dressy than normal, or do you wear just school clothes? And then usually I just put stuff out day to day and lay it out and fold up everything inside the pair of pants and move forward.
You're a folder, not a roller, though, with your clothes, right?
I am yes. Folding seems to fit better in the little suitcase that I have. So I have rolled stuff before, but yeah, just put it in there and fold it all up. That's your outfit for the day.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Hey, listen, we got to jump off this thing because I'm getting real hungry. It's 5:00. But Sam and I had a couple of words we wanted to share with you just to encourage you, okay, today. All right, so here's what we wrote for you. Dear Dad, you're the guiding light in our life. Your unwavering love and support mean the world to us. From teaching the important life lessons to providing a shoulder to lean on, you've always been there for us with your wisdom, kindness, and strength. We're grateful for the cherished memories we've created together and for the unconditional love you've given. Thank you for being an amazing father, and we're so lucky to call you Dad. Hey, that was from Chat GPT.
That was what?
That was actually Chat GPT.
Bro, he don't know what that is.
All right.
He was about to cry.
I know, dude.
James?
Dad, this is crazy. Have you ever messed with Chat GPT?
Chat GPT.
Yeah. You know, like it's like the.
I'm sitting here teared up. I don't know what you're doing.
Isn't that? It's the open AI stuff. It's ridiculous. It's wild, man.
Chat
Yeah.
made Dad cry, James.
I know
Why are you doing that?
that's the AI stuff. That's the power of AI, man. It's crazy.
Because I thought you were being sincere with me. I was moved.
Oh no, I meant every word. That's true. I was moved. I know. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Right there is your answer for anybody who would want to know should they participate in it.
Absolutely.
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 Hey, can you, while you're here, Dad, can you just give us a piece of encouragement, whatever on your mind, whatever you feel like? I mean, we'll get you back on the podcast before we hang the coat in the closet, but talk to us real quick. Give us a little bit of something maybe related to that.
A little something related to that. Well, I think that as we go through life, we better think. Number one, I think we need to do the right things because they're the right things to do. And I think we need to, as the New Testament teaches us, when we put our hand to the plow, we put our head down and plow.
That's a good word.
That's what old linemen like me do. Just get after it.
Hit them hard, hit them quick.
So, shout out to Oliver Neely.
Don't gripe and whine. Just get after it.
Hey, that's a good word, man. Hey, and seriously, we really do appreciate you. Whether that was Chat GP or not, we meant every word.
Although I find AI I'm a little let down. That's not quite as sincere as I was hoping.
Hey, we meant every word, though. No, we love you, man. We love you.
Hey, Dad, for real, we do love you.
Love you too, man.
Thank you. We're wrapping this thing up, and usually we say, "Have a great Blue Flame day."
Oh yeah, I hear it.
Hey, how about tap into your principal days and wrap up the day for us? Give us a little bit more of a nugget of encouragement, maybe from you.
I'll tell you what to do. Then here's what you do.
And seal the deal, baby. Seal it.
As you go through your day, use good sense. If you don't have good sense, find somebody that does have good sense and hold their hand and let them help you through it. And have a great Blue Flame day.
We love you, Dad.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too, man. Bye.
Bye. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great Blue Flame day. We'll talk to you soon.